October 21st, 2019. Howie recaps our DC visit. After reflecting on our visit for a few days, I come away with a few key takeaways. None of the Republican senators we view as our priority list are seriously considering being the first co-sponsor. All we are going to get by more office visits is more evasion. While they all pretty much vehemently deny that being the only one is a deterrent, and their office, of course, would never consider that as a factor, and in some cases can point to a bill where they stand as the lone Republican, it seems clear to me, and I think we all agree, that being first is the deterrent, and none are considering it. 2, we have focused on asking supporters to make phone calls because it's been our understanding that because phone calls take more effort than emails, and emails that are similar get heavily discounted or even ignored as form emails, despite the fact that constituents took the time to send them. It has been our impression that the staff at the front desk track and report these calls. However, what we found during the visits is that the aides responsible for running our request to co-sponsor up the chain, in some cases, are not even aware of the calls. When Molly questioned the nexus to Maine, and I told her 159 constituents had called, she was totally unaware of the calls, saying, "I never talked to any of them." Maya, in Blumenthal's office, specifically urged emails instead because they do get tracked and reported. We are about to go to press with our Big Cat Times newsletter that goes out to about 60,000 supporters. Of course, a limited number will take action, but my feeling is, at this point, the best thing we can do is direct emails to the specific aides we are talking to in our priority list and ask people to send those individually rather than by a form. So, attached is the article I have written for the Big Cat Times. I see no downside to adding a few senator names that have been mentioned but not on the priority list, so have included some. I'd very much appreciate your help filling in the blank email addresses. If you two have a reason to add or delete any names, let's discuss Monday if possible, since we are trying to get to press with this issue Monday night. Also, do I understand correctly that Andy Harding is on Barrasso's staff, not the EPW Committee staff like Sam? Should I frame a separate ask for our Wyoming supporters? Probably a small number, I'm checking, like asking him to hold a hearing. Thanks for all your time and help on the visit. While it would be easy to find it discouraging to feel none of the senators are serious about being first and conclude that we are dead in the Senate, I think we gathered some very useful information to try and change that, and I plan some specific follow-up this week with a few of them based on their comments. And then this is the article that Howie wrote. Exciting progress on Big Cat Public Safety Act, H.R. 1380, Senate 2561. Your emails to senators critical right now, please. The last few weeks before publication of this issue were among the most exciting we've had for the federal Big Cat Public Safety Act. First, on September 18th, the Natural Resources Committee held a meeting known as a markup to discuss the bill and vote on whether or not to report it out of the committee. The vote was 21-14 in favor, which means now the bill goes to the next step in the process, where decisions are ultimately made by the Speaker on whether to present it to the full House for a vote. Only a tiny percentage of bills make it out of committee to this stage in the process. Thanks to so many of you who have contacted your legislators to urge them to support the bill, we now have 176 co-sponsors in the House and counting. Then, just a week later, on September 26th, Senator Blumenthal introduced the bill in the Senate, where it was given the bill number of 2561. It was introduced with 10 initial co-sponsors. You can follow the addition of the House and Senate co-sponsors at these links. What is most critical now, particular in the very partisan environment in Washington, is for us to bring on board Republican co-sponsors in the Senate like we have in the House. The goals of this bill, stopping mistreatment of big cat cubs and adults, safety for first responders and the public, and keeping the tiger in the wild from extinction, are not partisan issues. On October 17th and 18th, Carole and I went to Washington to lobby. We met with the staff of our lead sponsors, and then with the staff for Senator Booker, one of the current co-sponsors, and with staff for Senators Barrasso of Wyoming, Braun of Indiana, Burr of North Carolina, and Collins of Maine, all of whom were very gracious in spending time with us and discussing the bill. The single most critical takeaway from these visits is this: in order to co-sponsor, the senators need to know the bill is important to constituents in their state. No matter what state you live in, it would be very helpful if you would go to the website of each of your senators who are not yet a co-sponsor and send an email asking them to co-sponsor the Big Cat Public Safety Act, Senate Bill 2561. If you are in any of the states listed below, please use the email address below for the aide who handles animal issues to send your email, including your physical address so they can mail you a reply. And in your own words, so our emails do not get discounted as form emails, briefly ask them to co-sponsor the bill. And please ask anyone you know who might share your concern for big cats to email as well. We are at a critical juncture in the effort to pass the bill this session, and your emails are the only thing that can make it happen. On behalf of the cats, thank you so much. And then he listed the primary states, which were Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Louisiana, Maine, Montana, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Wyoming. And that was because those were members on the committee. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.